Right now on CBS 2 this morning, extended coverage of what we are affectionately calling the corridor blizzard. It is blasting through the area. A live look this morning here in Cedar Rapids, as close to a foot of snow is expected.
That snow coming down overnight, but we have not seen the worst of the winds just yet.
No, the winds are kicking up. We'll take a look at snow totals and more of your viewer pictures to weather at CBS 2 Iowa and Fox28Iowa.com.
The corridor blizzard isn't just affecting travel plans out there on the roads, it's also affecting travel here at the airport. Coming up, we'll tell you what you should know to make sure you get out on time.
And the sun may be coming up, but the snow is definitely still coming down here in Iowa City. I'm here live just off of Dubuque Street with what you can expect in Johnson County.
Welcome to CBS 2 this morning, everybody. Extended coverage on this Thursday morning. I'm Joy Howe.
And I'm Scott Sanborn, and it's such a pleasure to be here this morning, you know, sharing the desk with Joy and Jason, who's working on road conditions, and Corey and Justin and the whole crew here this morning. This coffee also feels pretty good.
I was going to say this earlier, and I haven't said this yet. I just wanted to thank the boys over in the Weather Center for bringing the cold air in so we can feel what it's like outside, because it's freezing in this studio.
You know what? We also made Steve Rieger's day. Steve lives in Anamosa, and earlier this morning in the 6 o'clock hour, we gave away one of two $600 snow blowers, brand new. So Steve in Anamosa will be able to use that, of course, to clear his driveway or his farm road, if that's where he lives in Anamosa.
That's right.
Congratulations, Steve.
And we heard you right, one of two, so there's still another chance to get the second one. That'll be announced tonight, coming up on the CBS 2 News at 10, so make sure that you stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we are all over the corridor with this blizzard coverage.
We really are. I mean, we've got extended coverage, team coverage throughout the corridor at this point. You can see we've got Brittany Borghi, we've got Josh Scheinblum, we've got the Road Warriors out in two different locations this morning.
We've also got a fully staffed weather palace this morning. We've got Corey and Justin in. We're just lucky, I guess, today, guys. Is that what it is?
I think that must have been the case,
I think this is what 70s Hollywood was like. You know, all these people just running through the studio. And I got to say, you know, I grew up watching Scott in the mornings. He looks a lot different in person.
Does he?
He's tall.
I think he looks when somebody says, I grew up watching Scott in the morning. Makes me feel great.
You know, I was going to say, I think he looks pretty similar to how he looked about 5 hours ago,
yeah,
when both Scott and I were here.
I'm not sure you've grown up yet.
Yeah, really. Oh, boy.
He's still growing.
We're having fun here, but yet we have had a very busy last 12 hours, and the next 6 hours are still going to be pretty busy as well.
We have not seen the worst of the winds from the storm system. We've had a lot of that heavy snow coming in already. We have totals for you updated as of just a few minutes ago. Edgewood up at the top of the list, almost 11 inches of snow there. Littleton passing the 9-inch mark, almost up to 10 inches. And there you see Guttenberg at 8.5. Fayette, Justin's hometown.
Yep.
7.5 inches. A couple other totals here for you. Dubuque 5 1/3. CBS 2 studios. We are now registering at about 5.3 inches right outside the CBS 2 studios. And looks like we could get a little bit more. Could get up to 7, possibly 8 inches by the time the storm system is done in Cedar Rapids. And even heavier amounts from Waterloo all the way up through Olwine and Decorah. Quick check of the radar showing that we do still have that rain-snow mix down to the south and east, but it's been all snow for quite some time in Cedar Rapids. A couple of holes in the snow out there, looking a little bit like Swiss cheese.
Yeah,
in a few spots.
There's a few spots where it's letting up, but there's others where it let up a while ago, and now it's ramping right back up again, too.
What have you been seeing so far as road conditions
You know,
go?
let's stay on the radar real quick here. I'm going to load a live picture of, in fact, you know what, Booth, if we could, let's take the Road Warrior. We do have Aaron Gearhart. This is Lynn County. This is 380. And as the sun starts to brighten up a little bit, you can see those roadways getting a little worse. Looks like we're heading 380 north now. Aaron is driving through Lynn and Johnson counties. Dan has been kind of following 151 and Highway 20 this morning. As you might surmise here, travel just not recommended throughout the day today. That blizzard warning continues through the day. At midnight tonight, winds 15 to 35, gusts 40. We've already seen some of those 30-plus mile-an-hour gusts this morning, and only yet to get worse.
Yeah, the blizzard warning was originally set to expire at 6 o'clock tonight. That has been extended another 6 hours to go to midnight. Very strong winds as this storm system is blowing through the area. and those gusts could lead to pretty hefty snow drifts, perhaps a couple of feet deep in some spots.
Yeah, coming up, we'll take a look at what's ahead. We've shown you what's going on now. We'll take a look at the future. We're going to check in with our road warrior, and I believe Jason's going to join us in a bit. He's talking to some of the different plow drivers and emergency managers throughout the viewing area, kind of see how things are going throughout the corridor and throughout the entire eastern side of the state this morning.
Yeah, this storm is not done with us quite yet.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. You know, several instances now where we've had the weather is also our top story. So the drought throughout the summer, and now we're dealing with the corridor blizzard, which is our first significant winter storm of the season.
We're going to keep you on top of everything as we go through this together. Everything you need to know, including the latest school closings and delays. Keep watching the scroll at the bottom of your screen, or go to our Facebook page. That information is out there, and also on our website, cbs2iowa.com. Just click the school closings button on the main page, and this is what it looks like right now as we're looking at it together. Quite a few there on that list. Well, of course, people's travel plans, whether to school or work, have changed drastically this morning.
They really have, and that includes travel plans in the air. CBS 2's Josh Scheinblum live at the Eastern Iowa Airport this morning, and Josh, it really looks like a ghost town out there.
Yeah, it's been a very quiet morning here over at the Eastern Iowa Airport. There's just a handful of stranded passengers trying to get out as soon as they can. But at least so far in the immediate future, it doesn't look like they'll be going anywhere. Take a look over here behind me. The TSA right now pretty much just kind of sitting around waiting for this airport to reopen once again. It'll reopen around 11:35 this morning. But for the most part, all of the flights are canceled until 11:35 this morning. And that's just one of the look there over at some of the airports. Now, if you're not flying out of the Eastern Iowa Airport, let's take a look here over at the Quad Cities. Very similar situation to what we have seen over here at CID. One flight apparently did make it out at around 5:24 this morning, but any time after that, canceled, 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 and canceled. Some flights canceled over at the Quad Cities Airport as late as noon today. Now, we have been making a lot of friends here who have been stranded.
All right, Josh's microphone obviously going out for us in the middle of that, but he is right. You can get those information. Officials have been actually encouraging people to go online instead of call, because they're, of course...
Yeah, because they're overwhelmed with the number of people who are inquiring. So the easiest thing to do, just go to the Eastern Iowa Airport's website, and you can get all the information right there.
And hey, if you're stranded out there, take a picture or two for us from the first winter storm of the year. We actually want to see them.
That's right. See it, shoot it, and send it. Look for the link to see it, shoot it, send it on our website, cbs2iowa.com, or you can email them to news@cbs2iowa.com. We will post it to our website. We might even use those pictures on the air. Our corridor blizzard coverage continues this morning in Iowa City.
CBS 2's Brittany Borgie is standing by there for us. Brittany, tell you what, looks like you're getting some snow coming sideways. I love seeing that hitting you like that parallel. Or horizontal, I guess.
Do you remember in Forrest Gump? Do you remember in Forrest Gump when he's in Vietnam and he's talking about the rain falling in every different direction? That's what is happening here in Iowa City. It's snow, it's coming sideways, down, it's moving up from the ground. We're going to take you down to the ground to show you exactly what it looks like down here. We've been talking about all of the wetness that's happened here in Johnson County this morning, but now it's getting covered with a nice powdery layer. But underneath here is a really kind of crusty, wet snow that happened from all that rain and wet snow that we got overnight that's now being covered up with this kind of nice dime to quarter-sized flakes going on out here this morning. We're right beside I-80, however, and you can see there's some semis that are still kind of passing and a few cars going by that we can see, but that sounds like probably the last place that you want to be right now. It seems like the highway is just ice and semis, so not the place that you want to go. But we do know in talking with Public Works of Iowa City that plows have been out since the storm started, so there are trucks plowing the roads, but still that wetness and that ice that's kind of laid down overnight is going to make driving conditions really treacherous here in Iowa City. But we're keeping an eye on it as the sun starts to come up and the accumulation continues down here in Iowa City. But for now, we'll send it back to you, Joy and Scott.
All right, Brittany, now I'm humming the feather theme from Forrest Gump, so thank you. I'll be thinking of that all morning long. All right, great job down there. It's 7:09 on this Thursday morning.
Yeah, and we are simulcasting, so thanks for waking up with us here on CBS 2 and Fox 28.
And in the Weather First Forecast Center, we are tracking the storm. The strongest winds still to come later on for this afternoon. We'll have all the details of how long it's going to take to recover from this first blizzard of the season. Coming up next as we cover the corridor. Well, just as you're getting out of bed this morning, a lot of you might want to be heading back into bed, not wanting to deal with all the snow that you have out on your driveway. Some heavier snow starting to move back into the corridor for this morning from Iowa City up through Cedar Rapids. You see that darker blue shading. That is the heaviest snow that we have. Top of the banner here, that's where you can see that snow. The darker the blue, the heavier the snow that's coming down. Still some light rain out to the east, light to moderate rain in a few spots around the Quad Cities. Let's take a look a little bit closer into the corridor and show you where that snow is coming in. Swisher down through North Liberty. We do have snow-packed roads and a lot of spots, and travel not being advised at all for this morning just because of how difficult the conditions are going to be outside. It's not just snow, but we also have a blizzard warning for the combination of snow and gusty winds. We could potentially see winds all the way up to at least 50 miles an hour later this afternoon, maybe even a bit stronger. Quick check on our CBS 2 weather for SkyCam in Cedar Rapids. There is Collins Road, Rockwell Collins on the north side of that road, and Broadcast Park also right down here in that picture. A lot of snow coming in across the region. And wow, is it getting cold outside. A couple of the impacts from this blizzard warning. Of course, again, travel not being advised right now. One of the actions that we urge you to take. As far as the snowfall totals go, right now we're looking at anywhere from 4 to 10 inches is what's already on the ground around eastern Iowa, and we could add an extra 2 to 3 by noon. After that, about another inch or so between noon and 5 o'clock, and then the snow should start to wind down. But the winds will be very strong throughout the day, leading to low visibility and drifting and wind chills near zero through much of the afternoon. Road conditions right now, not looking great. My cohort in crime here, Justin Roberts, back over in the Weather Center. I'm going to toss it back to him, and he will run us through the road conditions as well as a check on the Road Warrior.
Yeah, the Road Warrior is running fine. We'll check back in with Aaron in a little bit. We've got Dan up in Dubuque, and let's go. This is a neat setup here, what Dan has for us. He's got his main camera on the bottom left-hand corner here, and on the right is a camera that's zoomed out and kind of pointed off to the right, showing you what the side of the road is. And he just went by, going through Dubuque, about 7 cars that were in the ditch along 151, and this actually make that Highway 20. Rolling from Dubuque kind of back towards the Waterloo area. So as we take a look at that picture, you'll notice the consistency and the shape of the roads. Can't really see much pavement other than one passable path. And there are vehicles, obviously, like that guy who thinks his four-wheel drive is a lot better than anyone else on the road. Don't drive like that guy as you're out and about this morning. Allow extra time from point A to point B. There's going to be a lot of slick spots out there on those roadways. Dubuque, as we mentioned, by the way, checking in, they've got about 5.5 to 6 inches of snow in main parts of town. Obviously, the further west you go, you're going to find some of those higher amounts. Real quick, I'll take you to the radar and show you what is happening in Dubuque this morning. And as you can see, we zoom on in. They're getting ready. They've already seen some heavier snows around 151 back down towards Cascade. Dyersville back to Manchester in the west, also looking at some of that heavier snow. Corey?
Let's head back to the wind that we're seeing right now. We'll show you these winds are starting to get a little bit stronger. 33 miles an hour right now in Cedar Rapids, 40 in Marshalltown. Those are the sustained winds, the gusts getting even stronger, and it's these really strong gusts today that are going to be reducing our visibilities and making it just pretty much impossible to get around on the roads at times. Look at the visibilities. Half a mile in Marshalltown, 1.5 miles in Cedar Rapids, 2 miles in Prairie du Chien, and Oelwein at 1.5. Temperatures right now hanging right around freezing, and that is what is going to continue to keep most of this as snow coming in through the rest of today. Later on, we do get some much colder temperatures back down into the 20s for the highs, single-digit lows, and later tonight, that wind chill could be as low as -10.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's cold.
It is really going to be cold with that wind, yeah.
By the way, we must mention Scott and Corey were here last night. Gentlemen, welcome to the morning news. That's what you need right there.
Well, you get your caffeine from Mountain Dew. I get mine from coffee.
Good old-
He's already got...
Well, there you go.
I have 3 more, don't worry. He's fine.
That is funny. Here's my breakfast on the run.
I love it.
Isn't that great? So,
See,
yeah.
welcome back to mornings. Don't you miss it sometimes?
Yes.
A little coffee, little oatmeal.
That's a
miss
lot.
it.
That was the I'm glad to be working 6 to 10 now lie.
Although we just dragged him in from the last night,
Yeah.
so, you know.
I'll tell you what, though, it really is good to be here. I mean, you know, it's been a while since I've done the mornings, but, you know, it's fun. You get to do this. You get your first look at the news, the first look at the weather.
That's
You know.
right.
Come on in.
You get to
Yeah.
steal people's stuff, and it's great. You know.
There we go.
I saw him spit back in there.
Yes, he probably did.
Something has got to be wrong if Scott and I are here a couple hours after we left.
Exactly.
You got to be good at what you do.
This
That's
is
what
proof
it is.
that we don't know where we are.
Well,
You know, we just.
Yeah. We thought the world was ending tomorrow, right?
Yeah, apparently it's today.
It's today.
it's the end of the world as you know it. Take a look. It's all whopper-jawed.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you,
You
for
bet.
that. Well, we'll tell you where you are. You're on CBS 2, and it's 7:17 this morning.
On the roads, we are checking in with those responsible for making things drivable, what their advice is for you. You're watching CBS 2 and Fox 28.
Listen throughout the day for your Weather First forecast on 98.1 K-Hawk, today's best country.
7:20, welcome back here on CBS 2 and Fox 28. I've been in the newsroom tracking one of the rough spots out there for you this morning, and that's Johnson County. As our weather team has been telling us, that's where the rainfall fell earlier and then turned over to snow, and it's kind of been a back and forth game for those folks down there, which is causing some problems. On the phone with us this morning is Kevin Braddock with Johnson County Highway Department. Kevin, thanks for being with us. I'm sure you're a busy guy this morning, but we appreciate you taking a couple minutes.
You bet, Jason. Good morning.
Good morning. Can you tell us, Kevin, what the conditions are out there this morning that your crews are reporting back to you about?
Yeah, well, right now we're experiencing, some heavier snow picking up, and underneath of that we've got some, wetter conditions, and it's pretty difficult driving in this slush. So guys have been out for a few hours here just trying to get all that cleaned up.
Yeah, one of the spots that our road warrior was on in particular was I-80 near Iowa City. He was saying that that rain had kind of frozen on the ground and then got covered up with the snow. Is that something your crews are seeing out there?
Yeah, they are, and that's just kind of amplifying the problem. That wet snow is pretty slick to drive on.
Sure. Besides the I-80, are you seeing any other rough spots your crews are reporting back to you?
Yeah, it's pretty much 80 north right now. The further south you go, it's just more wet, but up around the Swisher, Shoeyville area, things are starting to pick up a little heavier now.
And how are the winds? Because that was one of the big concerns when we were speaking with Annette with the Iowa Department of Transportation. She was saying the big concern is rural areas now with the wind covering those roads.
Yeah, the visibility is going to start to decrease here as the snow picks up and the winds pick up, and we're going to start seeing some pretty good drifting out there. Fortunately, the wetter snow isn't going to move around quite as much.
Well, Kevin, we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes on this very busy morning to be with us. We certainly appreciate it.
You bet. Drive safe out there.
Thank you. Your crews, too. And if you want to track those conditions, the Iowa Department of Transportation has a great website for that. It is at 511ia.org. They've got interactive maps where you can check your route. Also, you can see it with their web cameras throughout the corridor. It is right now 7:23 on this Thursday morning. Justin and Corey are going to have a look at the latest radar. When we come back, you're watching CBS 2 and Fox 28.
Let's get a rundown of our snowfall total so far. We almost have a foot in Edgewood, up to 10.8 inches right now. Littleton almost 10 inches. And Ostrodock coming in at 9 inches. Guttenberg at 8.5. So some really hefty snow totals, especially up across some of our northern counties. You get a little bit farther down to the south, not quite as much, but Vinton's still at 7.5 inches. Waukon at 7 inches. And outside the CBS 2 studios here at Broadcast Park, we're now at 5.3 inches. And we could still tack on a little bit more through the rest of the morning and into the afternoon. Should bring us back up around that 8-inch range by the time this storm is done. Here's your planner for today. The wind continues to increase throughout the morning and into the afternoon, and each of these time periods, 9 a.m., noon, and 3 o'clock, show increasing winds, and that is just going to be a big mess. Let's get a quick check on the Road Warrior up in the Dubuque area. This is Dan out driving on the roads in Piasta, and look at those snow-packed roads. This is going to be some nasty stuff, folks. Really tough to be able to deal with that. If you're going to be out on the roads, just be very cautious, take it very slow, and plan some extra time. Back to the radar right now. We'll look at Dubuque, where we are seeing some snow starting to spread into those areas, and up to the north as well for Decorah and Prairie du Chien. Backing out, still some rain down toward the Quad Cities, but this is all starting to switch over from rain to snow as that cold air is starting to come back in. Temperature-wise, it's going to be much colder the next several days, highs in the 20s, but the sun shines back tomorrow. Just don't expect it to melt much of that snow as highs stay below freezing.
All right, Corey, thank you. We want to say good morning again to our viewers on both CBS 2 and Fox 28. Right now, it's 7:27.
Our team coverage of this corridor blizzard is continuing. Live reports from Cedar Rapids and Iowa City coming right up. Right now on CBS 2 this morning, the corridor blizzard. A live look this morning here in Cedar Rapids. You can't see much. Nope. And that's pretty much the case everywhere. As close to a foot of snow is expected.
And that snow is going to be combined with some very strong winds, making travel nearly impossible in some spots. We'll run down all the snow totals and how much more is still coming up in just a bit.
See there, it's so cold that Brittany lost her voice.
That's what it was. It happened to me last week.
Yeah, I know.
Poor
it's
Brittany.
Not fun. Yeah.
It's not fun at all.
Welcome to CBS 2 this morning on CBS 2 and Fox 28. I'm not Jason Vincent. No, he is back working and checking with all of the folks who are busy out on the roadways and getting updates, and he's doing live reports throughout the morning this morning.
That's right. I'm Joy Howe alongside Scott Sanborn, of course. We welcome you back to the morning
Thank
show
you very
for
much.
just a moment here. Of course, Jason will be along shortly. We've also got a whole team of people. Justin running in for the forecast real quickly. But before we get to that, we want to talk about, before we talk about how bad it is on the roadways, talk about how great it is to look at.
You know, that is the one thing you come to appreciate in Iowa winters. Everybody wants a white Christmas. Of course, they don't want to have to mess with the snow blowers and clearing off the cars and freezing and things like that. But we've got some really beautiful scenery in eastern Iowa this morning. So if you just take a moment to glance out your window and appreciate the serenity, the beauty that these dangerous storms can bring.
That's right.
Because it's out there. You just have to look for it.
We'll call it the silver. We'll call it the white lining, I guess, this
There you
morning.
go.
You know, something. So, well, we're not the only ones covering the corridor this morning. We've got several people doing that along with a blizzard. We're going to head on over to our Weather First forecast for the guys who know it all. All the answers you have for us
We
today.
certainly hope that we yeah.
You do.
Yeah, we should mention, not only we've got, obviously a bunch of people watching us this morning, but we have to say good morning to 1630 KCJJ. They've been live with us all morning. 98.1 K-Hawk has been with us live all morning. KCRR up in the Cedar Valley. K98.5 is live with us. KMCH in Manchester carrying our newscast live this morning. So we're not only a TV, but we're a region-wide radio broadcast this morning, too.
Well, and we have partnerships with all those radio stations where we do weather forecasts for them as well as news, and we're just happy to welcome them in with our coverage for this morning. Yeah. Justin has some new pictures in from this morning. Let me have you run those down.
Yeah, first off, let's start with Brandy Burbridge from Cedar Falls. Look at all the snow sitting on top of that car right now in the Cedar Valley and around the car. We thank her for that picture. Up in Waverly, in Bremer County, Justin Wright sends us this picture, and he said just about 10 minutes ago as he sent us this picture, just shy of 7 inches of snow around Waverly proper. And look at that. Scott and Joy, you guys were mentioning the beauty that there is in the snowstorm. That's from the square in downtown Marion. Kim Wynn and the group in Live Truck 2, our live truck, sent that picture about a half hour ago. What a Thomas Kincaid-esque picture this morning.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a postcard.
Beautiful stuff. And again, if you've got pictures like that, they don't have to be as beautiful as Kim's picture. We want to see what it looks like in your yard, how much snow you've got. Weather at cbs2iowa.com. Radar right now, Corey, is still looking pretty bright and shiny as well.
It is. We do have some rain farther out to the east. That's the green, the red, the orange, the yellow. Those are some heavy rain showers there, but all the blue is snow, and the darkest shade of blue, that indicates the heaviest snow, is right over Iowa City right now, also heading out toward Tipton. That's where we have some very heavy snow bands across portions of Cedar and Jones counties, even into southern and southeastern Lynn County. Some spots getting a break from the snow, but others getting some very heavy snowfall. We'll have all the totals for you coming up in just a few minutes, as well as what you can expect through the rest of the day.
All right,
guys.
Good.
Thank you. Of course, we've been all around the corridor all morning long with our team coverage of this storm.
And we are going to head down to Iowa City once again and check in with Brittany Borghi. Brittany, it seems Iowa City thought they were going to get a little less, but not so good, not so fast down there in Iowa City.
Not so fast, Joy. That's right. I thought we were in the clear when I woke up bright and early, or in the dark, I guess. this morning. But you know what? As Corey said, we were really bearing the brunt of the corridor blizzard. Right now you can see we've got these huge flakes just coming down at all angles at us right now as we stand just kind of overlooking I-80, watching the cars and trucks and semis and everything just really at a crawl, or some a little faster than a crawl, just kind of crawling over here on I-80. What we do know about what is happening here in Iowa City is that crews were on call to start plowing as soon as the blizzard started to hit this morning, and as we made our way to our location this morning in that 3 o'clock hour, we saw plows on the highway, saw those city plows going around, and we've seen them all morning, but still the wetness and the ice that we had overnight has made driving conditions just really pretty severe down here. Also in the downtown area, they are plowing all of the sidewalks. They're shoveling all of the sidewalks around downtown as one continuous thing with two different companies. So, you know, trying to get as much snow out of the way as possible, but still, as you can see, that's it's fighting a losing battle, really.
All right, Brittany, yep, you're absolutely right about that. The snow keeps falling down there in Iowa City. Stay warm, Brittany. We appreciate you down there.
With the blowing and drifting snow, road conditions are a big concern this morning. Here's a statewide look at what's being reported by the State Patrol and the DOT. This is the 511 website, which can come in so handy. And as you can see, all that purple that you're seeing on the thoroughfares throughout the corridor and the rest of Iowa, that purple means travel is not advised. It is dangerous out there. A lot of icy conditions. We've seen a lot of cars in ditches along several thoroughfares. Now, that's not to say the roads aren't passable. They are passable, but the DOT is advising folks to stay off the road. If you don't have to travel, please don't, because it is dangerous out there. The DOT is, in fact, advising no driving in Iowa if possible through noon today.
But if you have to go out there, a first responder perhaps or something like that, here are the tips you want to know to stay safe. Use your cell phone to call 911. Of course, those guys also trying to be safe out there. Stay with your vehicle and turn on your vehicle's warning and flashing lights. And of course, use your winter survival kit. We have a link to driving tips and survival kit information on our website, cbs2iowa.com.
Here's some more latest updated information. There are 29 cities with snow emergencies in effect, including Cedar Rapids, North Liberty, and Cedar Falls. For most cities, this will mean your car will be towed if it's parked on a snow emergency route until the snow emergency expires. For a complete list of the cities with snow emergencies, please go to our website, cbs2iowa.com.
Of course, we're also keeping an eye on all the latest school closings and delays. Keep watching the ticker at the bottom of your screen or the information on our website, cbs2iowa.com. Just click on the school closings button on the main page. Here's a list of what it looks like right now. As you can see, quite a lot. So get your information there.
We continue our team coverage of the corridor blizzard this morning in Marion.
CBS 2's and Fox 28's Kim Wynn is live there this morning. She's been there for a few hours. And Kim, as the morning has gone on, what have you seen happen with the conditions there in Marion?
Like you said, Joy, I've been out here for the past 2 hours on the corner of 10th Street and 7th Avenue. And as far as any changes, the snowfall has pretty much been consistent and still coming down pretty lightly. The biggest change, I will say, has been on the streets. The traffic has really picked up here over the past 2 hours. Lots more folks coming out here, people going out to work. So lots more traffic picking up here on the roads. What I want you to do right now, you guys were talking about this earlier, about getting out and enjoying some of the winter scenery that happens when it snows here in Iowa. Take a look right here to the right of me, behind me. You see this Christmas tree covered with all this snow right here. Very pretty to look at. And there were actually a lot of folks out here the last 5 minutes taking pictures on their cell phones of that Christmas tree and all the beauty that kind of happens when the snow hits it and all the lights. So they're definitely coming out here, folks going to work, and also just even if they're staying home today, coming out, taking pictures and enjoying the snow. So they're definitely taking you guys' advice of enjoying this white winterland that we have going on here. We're covering the corridor in Marion. Kim Wynn, Fox 28 News at 7.
All right, Kim, and if you know what, this reporter thing doesn't work out for you, you can be a photographer. That picture she took was just absolutely beautiful from the live truck. That was you can sell those as postcards online.
That's a good idea.
There you go. Thank you, Kim. Now remember, when storms threaten, you can track them anytime with our iRadar feature. It's easy to use and available anytime, day or night. Just head to our website, cbs2iowa.com, and then you click on the iRadar, and there it is. It'll light up your computer screen with a bunch of colors.
Isn't that cool? Yeah, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can see everything across the state, across the Midwest. You can zoom right down to your very own neighborhood.
How
so
about
it's
that?
a really cool feature. iRadar at cbs2iowa.com. Good morning once again. It is 7:39.
Thanks for waking up with us here on CBS 2 and Fox 28.
No doubt you have a lot of snow on your driveway that you need to shovel, but we still have more coming. How much more you can expect through the rest of today coming up as we cover the corridor. A lot of snow we have to clear off for today, and we still have more to come later on for this morning and into the afternoon. Almost a foot in Edgewood, Littleton up to about 10 inches. Guttenberg 8.5 and Fayette at 7.5. Justin Roberts earlier was trying to make Fayette the largest one on the screen here. He was blowing up the name there just to, oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to do it right here. There it is. Yeah, that's Justin. That's why we don't leave him in the Weather Center unattended. Not a good thing. Let's take a look at some of the other snowfall totals that we have. Dubuque, 5.3 inches. Same thing here at the CBS 2 studios. And Solon, 2 inches. Some rain-snow mix in a few spots down to the south around Iowa City and, of course, heading out toward the Quad Cities. And we'll see lighter amounts there, but still 4 to 8 inches around Cedar Rapids, 8 to 12 plus from Waterloo all the way up into Oelwein and also for Decorah. Let's check out that radar right now, and we'll show you that we do have another heavy snow band settling in just to the east of Cedar Rapids, heading in toward the Tipton area. We'll zoom in on that. Iowa City also now switching over to all snow, but it's decidedly rain heading down toward the Quad Cities. A couple of holes in our snow cover there up around Manchester and Waterloo, but we'll still get more snow coming in through the rest of today. Blizzard warning in effect till midnight tonight. That's this bright orange color that you see here. That's where we'll have the combination of the heaviest snow and the strongest winds. A lot of impacts from this storm system. Let's run down a couple of them. We're still expecting another 2 to 3 inches between now and noon. And then after that, another inch possible later on for this afternoon. Gusts up to 55 miles an hour, maybe just a little stronger in a few spots, and that leads to low visibility, drifting, and wind chills near zero. We're going to take a quick camera tour using all of the cameras that we have here at CBS 2 and Fox 28. Iowa City first. And normally you can make out I-80 here pretty well, but right now, tough to even make out the interstate. Let's head to Cedar Rapids and see what's happening there. A little bit better visibility here, but still some snow coming down on the roads. There's Rockwell Collins Road. And let's head out to Dubuque and see what's happening there. We can actually see the bridge here over the Mississippi River, so visibility not quite as bad there, but there is snow on the parking lot outside the Diamond Joe Casino. Let's check in with Justin now for road conditions.
All right, thank you so much, Corey. We're going to go from the Dubuque Skycam to those road conditions. Again, travel not advised throughout much of the viewing area, in fact, all of the viewing area. And let's go to the Road Warrior. We have 2 Road Warriors for you, one in southern parts of the viewing area, Cedar Rapids and Iowa City. We're going to go to Highway 20, and we've been traveling from Dubuque over towards the Waterloo area. Dan Gottschalk along with us on the phone. Dan, you found the worst part of Iowa right now to drive in. Tell me what it's like behind the wheel.
Well, the conditions have definitely started to deteriorate more. Visibility has dropped from, it was a couple miles, probably about an hour ago, now down to a quarter mile to a half mile roughly. Every time a car drives past, though, it's near zero at that point.
And now you've got an onboard anemometer, which is basically an onboard tool to measure the wind speeds. What you told me earlier, you said about 39 mile an hour pegged. Has it gotten any higher than that?
Highest I've seen so far has been 45 since then.
45 mile an hour wind gust, Corey, blowing across the roadways. And Dan, is it about by Dyersville, if I'm guessing correct, right?
That is correct.
All right, on Highway 20 heading west, he's going to head to Waterloo, and then from Waterloo, you going to head back down to Cedar Rapids, or what are you thinking?
We'll see how the weather turns out.
All right, sounds good. Dan, be safe. We thank you so much for joining us. Dan Gottschalk live in Dubuque County, just about to cross over into Delaware County with that Junkie Mazda Road Warrior. Corey?
Well, and Jesse, you just mentioned those winds. Here are the current wind gusts up to 43 miles an hour right now in Cedar Rapids, and very strong winds even out to the west. Marshalltown now pushing near 50. That's what's going to cause all the blowing snow and the drifting that we're going to see throughout the rest of today. Quick check on that 7-day. We have much colder weather coming in later on for this weekend, but there will be some sunshine in by tomorrow.
All right, so we got a little bit of a sandwich sunshine in there. If you notice that, there's like the snow, and then some happy time to play in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a perfect place if you want to play in the snow. Well, I don't know if Deborah Elshoff and Clarence would appreciate you showing up in her front yard, but this is her view out of her front yard. She sent us this photo. It is really cool. She posted it to our Facebook page. So we are encouraging you, when you're taking those serene pictures or whatever you're seeing, wherever you are, please post them to our Facebook page.
We took it right off of there, so keep those coming. Other people have been posting and all that. And also remember that we are live on the mobile stream as well, so if you are not able to watch us perhaps on the television, who knows what's going on, some people have lost their power, just turn on that cell phone. We'll be right there for you. Well, the weather likely played a role in an early morning collision along I-380.
It happened near the Midway Road overpass in the northbound lanes of I-380 around 2:15 this morning. The Linn County Sheriff's Office tells CBS 2 News a semi-driver lost control on the snow-covered roads, jackknifed into the guardrails and the bridge support. The driver wasn't hurt, but a passenger in the sleep cabin of the semi was sent to the hospital. We are told injuries are not life-threatening.
Good news there. Those roads are dangerous. Be careful, everybody. Well, thank you for being with us through our Corridor Blizzard coverage. Stay here to get the most up-to-date information on the Corridor Blizzard.
It's now 7:47. We're flying through the fog and the snowy conditions. This is a live look outside, and you're watching CBS 2 This Morning.
7:50. Welcome back, everyone, to CBS 2 and Fox 28. We continue to check in with crews across the state on how things are looking out there on the roads. In this half hour, we are checking in with Jessica Lown, who's with the Iowa Department of Public Safety. Jessica, we know you're busy this morning, so we appreciate a couple of minutes of your time.
You're very welcome. We're happy to talk to you and, of course, all of your viewers this morning.
Well, thank you. Can you tell us what some of the biggest concerns out there for drivers who do have to venture out?
Well, first of all, we would advise that they not venture out. I know that the sun has come up, but the wind has not stopped blowing. And all of that snow, that fresh snow out there, is going to drift and reduce visibility for anybody who's driving. As you may or may not know, the state of Iowa has closed many of its office locations this morning. And I think that's a pretty good indicator that our government does not think it's safe to be out driving right now.
Sure. Now, have you heard of any significant crash reports or areas that need to be avoided because of those rough conditions?
Well, right now on all of our U.S. highways and interstates across the state of Iowa, and especially over in eastern Iowa, in the Cedar Rapids area, there's a tow ban in place. Travel is not advised, and if you get stuck, you're going to be waiting in your car for a while for somebody to come and get you, and then your car is going to stay behind. It's just not safe right now for tow trucks to be out there pulling cars out of ditches, and so we really would advise that you stay home.
What are your crews telling you that are out and about this morning with the Iowa State Patrol?
Well, the roads continue to be snow and ice covered, and you know that wind is coming out of the north, and so the drifts really are beginning to be a problem for drivers and motorists, and for our troopers as they travel the roadways. They have to be careful and navigate around those spots. They continue to come across stranded vehicles, and as soon as they come across them, they're pulling people out of cars and dropping them off in safe locations. It's just really, it's not good conditions. The conditions are not good out there right now, and we want to make sure that people avoid travel at all costs.
So if a driver does find themselves in trouble this morning, what's the best advice for them?
Well, first and foremost, you should always have a charged cell phone with you in your car, because if you become stranded, you need to have a way to contact someone to request help and assistance. then the second thing is make sure that you do not get out of your car. It's tempting to get out, take a look around, see if you can figure out a way to get yourself out of the snowdrift or the ditch or whatever. But that can create problems for other drivers, and we certainly do not want somebody walking around their vehicle and being struck by another driver who has low visibility as well.
Yeah, that can definitely make a worse situation even more worse. So, Jessica, we appreciate you taking a couple of minutes with us this morning, and best of luck to all of your crews out there this morning.
Thank you. Everyone stay safe out there.
Thank you. It's right now 7:53 on this Thursday morning. We're taking another look at that radar on this snowy day when we come back.
Maybe tough to remember, but last week we had highs in the 50s, and we were still talking about springtime weather in December. Now it is decidedly winter, with temperatures falling throughout the day as this system moves through the region. We'll have much colder air to deal with later on this afternoon, even than what we're seeing this morning. And the winds increase throughout the day. We could see gusts up around 50 miles an hour all the way through the afternoon. Not a lot of additional snowfall once we get past noon today, but we will see totals getting up to around a foot for some of us, 4 to 8 inches, a little bit closer into Cedar Rapids, and 1 to 3, maybe a little bit more down through Iowa City all the way through tonight. Checking out the radar right now, we do have a very heavy snow band settling in from Dubuque all the way down into Tipton, just east of Iowa City, and down into Washington. Out to the west, not quite as heavy snow in Cedar Rapids, but we're still picking up some additional accumulations. And again, a couple inches still expected from now all the way through the afternoon. Blizzard warning in effect until midnight tonight, and it looks like we'll have some extremely strong winds with all this coming in, and that will reduce visibility to near zero this afternoon. Looking at our Iowa City sky cam, not much visibility there on Interstate 80. Travel not advised right now by the Iowa DOT across the entire state. So just be extra cautious if you do need to head outside. And if your travel is not necessary for today, the best thing is just to try to stay home and wait this storm out. For the winds right now, we're looking at 22 miles an hour in Decorah, 30 for Olwine. Looking at picking up to the west, Marshalltown already up to 40. Those are the sustained wind speeds. The gusts getting even stronger. We're now seeing some 50-mile-an-hour winds from Ames into Marshalltown. 46 in Cedar Rapids. This is that really strong wind that's going to be coming in and just blowing all that snow around. We're going to see big snow drifts, possibly a couple feet deep out of this system. Visibility down to less than a mile right now in Cedar Rapids. Temperature is also falling as some colder air is starting to move in. Still in the 30s right now in Cedar Rapids, but look at those 20s out to the west. That's that colder air that's going to be moving in and switching where it is rain right now back over to snow later on for this afternoon. And it's not going to be until the later stages of the day that all this starts to wind down, and we'll see a break in all this snow by later on for tonight. On the 7-day, look at the cold air coming in. We'll see single-digit lows for the next couple of nights, and the wind chills at night could be back down to -10. Really rough stuff there. We do have another chance for some snowflakes in next week's forecast, and look what day that comes in on. Christmas
Santa Claus.
Day.
Yeah.
Ho, ho, ho.
A white Christmas. All right. Thank you, guys.
You bet. Appreciate it. Hey, for those of you watching us on Fox 28 this morning, we hope you'll switch over to CBS 2. We will continue there for at least the next hour as we cover the corridor blizzard.